Hi, this is Charisma at Charisma's Corner, and I did a series of stitching videos. I'm going to add a little bit more to that, but what we originally started using those stitches for were wool, penny, and confetti projects. And what I found is that sometimes some of the people that had started those projects got stuck as to how to use the stitches, and I kind of love these projects because I just kind of wing it and figure it out as I go. I don't have a plan, I don't have a pattern, I just kind of do it, and that's what I love about them, because there's freedom in it. And even if I don't necessarily like the penny or the confetti square at the end of the project or at the end of the process, I learned something. So I just figure it out, and sometimes they become my favorite, and I might really love the square so much that I actually add it to several of my projects, or you know, I just think, oh, what, that's not my favorite, but I learned that I don't like it. So anyway, I decided I would show you some different stitch combinations, different things that you can do to kind of add some variety to your squares. So I have my first one here, and you can see that I started with a light gray confetti square. I put a white one on it. If you watch the original video, you'll see that I never really plan the colors. I don't take a lot of time doing that, because after you add all the threads and stuff, it looks completely different anyway. So and then I just randomly just sort of put big ones, little ones, layer them. So when I first started this, I decided to stitch a back stitch all the way around the gray, and then I went in with the fly stitch, and I put a fly stitch in each corner to give it some unity, and then I put 2 on each side. I'm sure I have a video on the fly stitch. If I don't, I'll do one. I know for sure I have one on the lazy daisy, so then I decided to add the lazy daisy. So I added a lazy daisy stitch in the center of each one of these fly stitches in the corner, and now I'm adding a lazy daisy to the side of them. So we'll finish that and then I'll show you. I just sort of make it up as I go, and just keep building upon it. So then when you have when you start building upon it, then you'll say, oh, maybe it needs this, or maybe it needs that. Dang it, I lost my needle. Okay, so there I have finished my not my fly stitches, my lazy daisy stitches. So I also wanted to show that this translates over onto a wool penny. And so I have the same exact combination. I did a back stitch with 6 strands of pearl cotton, same exact thing here. Or not pearl cotton, sorry, 6 strands of DMC floss. I did the same exact thing with the gold here. I did a light gray here. There's 2 layers, so I just did the white, or the fly stitch, and I did the same exact technique of I started my fly stitch at the top there, and then came to the edge of the square to bring it all the way down past the first layer of the wool confetti stitch, and then I went and I added the lazy daisies to the side of each of the fly stitch around this circle. And as you can see, I added French knots in the center of the fly stitch on this one. So I'm actually going to go into these ones and add a French knot in the center of each of those. So they look a little bit different, you know, depending on the wool penny or the wool confetti square, but I'm doing all the same exact stitches. And this blue wool penny project, I sort of have a theme going of red, white, and blue. I'm doing all different shades of that, so that's why there's not all these bright colors going on. I'm just gonna show you this. So far in this one wool penny, we have a back stitch, a fly stitch, a lazy daisy, and a French knot. So in the center of this, I could choose to even add another stitch because I don't think I'm gonna leave that center area blank. I thought I'd add maybe like a little lazy daisy flower. So I'm just gonna take that there, and then so I'll go in here and start adding my French knots. French knots and lazy daisies are probably the most used stitch that I use on these. There's so many different combinations and I just love them. I'm not sure, the French knot just kind of adds a lot of dimension, and you know, they can be berries, they can be flowers, they can be the fringe on the outer, they're the center of the flower. They're just very versatile, and I just love the dimension that they add. So we're almost done with that, and then I'll show you the little lazy daisy flower in the center. And it's pretty rare that, you know, you don't use 4 or 5 stitches on a square. Okay, so I have that part finished. I already have some yellow. I decided to put yellow in the center of this. So I'm just going to start in the center. I'm just going to put a little lazy daisy flower. And then to bring it all together in the center of this lazy daisy flower, I could put another French knot, green or red, something to tie it all together. Sometimes it gets a little bulky in the center there because of all the layers. Okay, so there we have it. I'll finish these up and then we'll just do a little screenshot of what they look like when they're finished. So we'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, so we're back and I've finished the 2 little confetti, wool confetti square and penny. And I just want to show you what they look like finished. So I just did a little lazy daisy flower like I showed you on the yellow, and then I just added the French knot. You can see that they're both the same exact stitches, the same sort of layout. And I just want to make note that the yellow and the gray, again, are 6 strands of DMC floss. Everything else is pearl cotton. I know that we all have the balls of pearl cotton if you're doing any embroidery and all of that, but I do just want to do a little plug for this company. I don't have any affiliation with them. I just found their thread. It comes on spools. It's from the Thread Art company, and it's pearl cotton number 8. It's what I tend to use a lot of because I love their colors, and I love that it comes on a spool instead of a ball. For whatever reason, I feel like I feel more organized that way, and I don't have to have a special container to hold all of my balls of thread. So anyway, if you have the same organizational issues that I do with the balls and you don't want to have to buy special containers for those, then Thread Art Pearl Cotton number 8 is a great buy, and it's a little bit less expensive, so I just really like it. I buy it anytime that they have a sale or anything that goes on. So anyway, tomorrow or in the next couple days, I'll post another video. I'm gonna come up with some different combinations to show you the different ways that I sew these confetti squares and wool pennies. And you can see how even though they're the same stitches, they look a little bit different. The colors, obviously the weight of thread makes a huge difference. You can see by the back stitches. And I would say that probably a minimum of 3 to 4 different stitches I use on each block, or, you know, little area. But sometimes, you know, you can just fill it in with a couple of different stitches, and I'll show you some different ways to which I use up all the little bits of thread and a couple squares on each little wool piece that I do, because I just don't like to have all of those little bits of thread. So I find creative ways to use all of them so that when I finish my project, I don't have any leftovers. So we'll discuss that another day. But I hope you guys all have a great day, and the new year is coming, and we all have these great stitching projects that we either want to finish or that we just want to start because it's cold and it's just that time of year to sit and stitch in front of the fire and with a warm quilt on our lap. So again, if you want to visit me at Charisma, at Charisma's Corner, Charisma Horton on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, we're all on everything. So have a great day. Happy New Year.